Mayfew, and I'm part of the team that helped develop Champion Science Adventures. And now that you're a little familiar with the lesson format and the types of activities and experiments that are included in these lessons, I'm here today to talk to you about the best practices for classroom and material management. Now, we want you to enjoy teaching, but we also want the children to be actively engaged, enjoy learning. So with a few tips and tools of the trade, you too will be a science teaching superstar. Okay, so first you're going to get a kit pack, and it's going to be full of all the supplies you need that are listed as in kit and in the materials portion of your lesson. The kits will come with a recipe sheet and will tell you what's in the kit, and then also anything that's not in the kit, you're going to have to make sure to review that and make sure you have that accessible before you teach the lesson. Now, for all these materials, we have to get them to the kids. And we don't want to disrupt the flow of learning as you're getting these materials out to the children. So we just really highly suggest that you think about how you're going to get these things to the children. So if you have tape, how are the kids going to get tape? Because in the middle of the lesson, when they need a piece of tape, you don't want to stop what you're doing and walk around to each child and give them a piece of tape. You want to have that sorted out before. So what I do, and you can figure out what you want to do, but what works for me is I put however many pieces of tape on a paper plate. If the kids need 2 pieces of tape, I write a big 2 on the middle of the plate so the kids know I need 2 pieces of tape, and I take the 2 pieces of tape and then they use them. Now, as any process or procedure that you do with kids, you need to practice beforehand. It's going to make it a lot simpler. So before you get all this fun, engaging things they automatically want to see and play, you need to instill in them the procedure and the process. If you do that, then they will emphasize procedure and process. So before you start getting all these super fun things out and they go off task and they want to play, let's practice passing things out. Let's practice distribution. You need to know that they know your expectations and they need to know you know what's expected of them. So when you're thinking about material distribution, the key is thinking about material distribution. You have to put some thought in beforehand so that it's seamless and you don't waste any instructional time. I mean, kids can get disengaged like that. You know, their little brains, they see something fun, they're done. You want to make this as seamless as possible to not interrupt that flow of learning. So we picked the K'NEX Lunar Rover lesson for this segment because it's one of the most material intensive types of lessons we have. The K'NEX include a lot of small parts and pieces. So there's 2 types of way you're going to see the K'NEX packed. The Lunar Rover lesson, all the pieces come in little baggies. So each green connector, this is enough for 5 kids. They're all in one baggie. And the same thing with all the pieces. All the wheels for 5 kids are in one baggie. In that scenario, what we found the best way to do this is to put each type of piece in its own baggie. If the kids need 1 of this type of piece, you put a 1 on the baggie and you form like a buffet line. So they need 5 blue rods and so on. And the kids come through like in the cafeteria and they pick out how many parts they need out of each bag. And by the end, they'll have all the parts that they need. Now, again, we suggest having some sort of plate or bowl or another bag that they can put it on to keep their parts safe and separate, especially if you're outdoors. These little green pieces can get lost real easily. But once they're through the buffet line, you can start your lesson and everything has what they need. The other way that they are packed is like the Firefly lesson. All the parts for 5 children come in one bag. So this is a little bit different. You put the bag in the middle of 5 children, open it up, and then you will have to manually call out, pick out 5 rods. The kids will pull out 5 rods, put it in their bag, and so on and so forth until they have all their pieces. Now, before you start your lesson, I use these box tops all the time. I mean, they're like gold, seriously, when you're teaching science. Everything that you need for your lesson, sometimes you need to move from one area to another area. If you're doing one type of experiment, maybe you need a bigger area for the next. Everything I need for my lesson and what I need to give to my kids are in this box top. I have my lesson, I have my handouts, because there's some mobility here. So just remember to just put some thought into how you're going to distribute your materials and you should be good. Okay, so a part of a lot of our lessons we're going to give out toys, and sometimes the toys aren't all the same, so everyone might get an ocean creature, but it might not be the same ocean creature. This can cause some, disagreements, to say the least. I want this one, not that one. So what we suggest to do is just put all of them into a bag, and the kids have to pick out of the bag. Get what you get, don't throw a fit. You can give them the option of trading afterwards, but this will make it go smooth, and it's not like the kids are gonna spend a million hours trying to figure out which one, which is not a learning type of activity. Again, if there's small items, like getting the marbles out to the kids, I put the number of marbles they need on the cup and then pass it around and they just fish it out of there. As long as you have a system, you should be okay. Tape. Tape can be a time sucker. So this is something that I do. As long as you do something, it doesn't matter. But if they need 2 pieces of tape, I put tape around the edge of a plate and I write the number 2 on the plate and pass it around and let them get their tape. I usually don't hand out materials until they're needed, because if there's too much and the kids don't know what they're doing with it, then they're going to tend to do something with it, maybe not what you want them to do with it. So also ice cube trays. I think these are awesome for this type of thing. Paper clips, little clay chunks. The kids can they know that one of these little containers is for them, and they can take whatever it is out of there, and then you can move forward quickly. Okay, now you are material management experts. Now you need to become child management experts, because there's a lot of directions, there's a lot of times where you're going to have to stop action, introduce content, stop action, give them more directions so they can successfully complete their build or experiment. The number one thing that you need is a cueing system, and a consistent cueing system. Pick one and stick with it. You can pick a clap, you can pick 1, 2, 3, eyes on me, and the kids 1, 2, eyes on you, and they stop. The important thing is they know that expectation, and they know that their hands are free, their eyes are on you, and they're waiting for the next direction or whatever content is coming next. So before you start any of this science stuff, make sure the kids practice that and prove to you they know how to stop in the middle of an activity. So start an activity and make sure that they can do it before you do any science or start any directions. Another really important piece to child management in a material-intensive science program is dealing with these multiple step instructions. You need to be good at delivering them, and you need to make sure the children are good at following them. So again, practice makes perfect. I would find an opportunity to practice Simon Says, walk to the wall, turn in 3 circles, and sit down. Any transition times, just know that the children know your expectation. Now, practice and a little activity, and then let the kids demonstrate that they know how to follow these directions with an activity that's kind of similar to what you're going to be doing in the activity. So the Lunar Rover lesson, I would have them make a simple shape, even if it's just a square. Connect 2 red connectors with 2 blue rods and have the children hold it up. That serves 2 purposes. The children that get done quickly have something to do, and the children that are taking a little bit more time can look around and see what they're meant to do. So keep it in mind. It's going to happen in every lesson multiple times. So become good at giving them and make sure the kids are good at following them.